Okay, so we looked at how you can put a chart into a SQL Server report. Now what I want to do is show you how you can use the same technique but create a PDF file. So what I have here, I'm back in the Azure Data Studio, and there is a stored procedure I created, which is called SPPDF. So let's just quickly look at that. And this is what it looks like. And if you look at it, it has a select statement. And in this particular instance, we go against something called stock pivot table, which basically means that I pivoted the data from the stock table into, so tickers becomes columns instead of rows. So we can quickly look at that table, I guess. So if you go to this stock pivot, we select the top 1000 here. And here is what you can see the table looks like. So you got the dates, we got the tickers across the column headers, and these are the rate of returns. All right, so I'm going to query that. I'm going to pass that into the R script. We won't be needing this grid extra and the grid libraries because those are used to create tables that you can put within the PDF. So if you have tables you want to merge with charts and so forth inside the PDF output, you should check out these two packages. They will come in very handy. All right, so we're inputting this SQL script, this variable into the input data. And as you can see, that's this one. We load into the data frame that is internal to R. And then we convert the date column into a POSIX CT. I'm also creating some row names. And then I pipe the data that we just created here. I pipe it and select only the three columns, SP 500, ABT, and ABBV, which is the S&P 500, the Abbott Laboratories information, and the AbbVie information. Then I create an XTS time series. And then I set up my, like we did before, you create this image file variable. You set it equal to this temporary storage space that is created by this temp file function. And in this case, I'm not using JPEG, but I'm setting it to PDF. And I'm passing in the image file. And I set the width and the height. And this one creates a landscape format. So that's why I say paper to USR. Then I call a performance analytics function, the risk return scatter plot, which is expecting a data come from this, this time series. And I pass in a zero risk-free rate because it's close to zero these days, so I left it at zero. Get a title for it, and then add the sharp ratio timeline for all three of them. And then I do a dev off, and that means I can actually create a variable to hold the output. And again, we do a read binary file with the same settings as before. Just check out the previous video for SQL Server reporting services to what this does. And then you pass the plot df to the output dataset. Create a result set, give it a name for a column header, and make it var binary max. All right, so now we have that stored procedure. Now we should be able to actually run that stored procedure. So let's go down and script it as execute and run it. And it's going to produce a binary output called plot me. So here you can see it. The next thing I want to do is I want to actually bring up my PowerShell ISE console. And as you can see here, I'm using BCP. I'm calling the store procedure by execute the store procedure. The output, I want to go into this location, and I want to call it risk return chart PDF. The data source I'm querying is the SQL 2019 instance, and then from the test DB. Now, these are additional flags used for the BCP. We'll look at that next. Let me just run this and see what happens. Okay, it finished. So let me go into my folder, and let's go to the temp file, to the plots, and here is that chart. So if you open that chart now, you can see this is what it looks like. So I produced this PDF, and this is what it looks like. So right now we have a PDF document that we spooled out from SQL Server Reporting Services. Okay, just want to kind of finalize the BCP flags that I talked about. I just want to shed a little more information about it. So if you go to this BCP utility website and you scroll down, you can see that these are all the flags that are available. So the first one we have is the S flag. So the S stands for the server name. So that's why you prefix it with a -S. That's my server. And then we have a D flag, as a small lowercase d. And if you look at the lowercase d, that's for the database name, which is testdb. Then we have a capital -T. If you go there and you click on this hyperlink, it says that it's trusted connection because I'm logging in with my Windows authentication into SQL Server. So that's what that capital T is doing. Okay, so let me go Control Home. And the last one is the lowercase n flag I'm using. It performs the bulk copy operation using the native database data types of the data. So those are the flags that I use in order to get the PDF output that I showed you.